All right, guys and gals, back to work tonight. I know that weekend always flies right by, but that's all right. It's Monday night. We're getting ready for Tuesday's trading session. We get some big news coming tomorrow. We've got some big moves on these charts the last couple days. It smells like some big opportunities going into Tuesday's trading session. I have some great trades setting up for Tuesday. I'm going to go over all my favorite trades in tonight's video. Then you get a game plan to make some money tomorrow. Before we jump in, though, and get this party going tonight, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video upload. And as always, if you enjoyed the video tonight, do me a favor, will you? Hit that like button. I appreciate you guys supporting this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, though. Enough of the intro, right? Let's get ready for Tuesday. Got some big news coming tomorrow, potentially some big opportunities on our radar. Things are all bullish right now, right? There's a whiff of that lower CPI report coming out tomorrow morning, right? Everything's pretty much bullish. NASDAQ is bullish. S&P is bullish. Crude oil doesn't look very bullish right now, but bullish into a trading range right now. So we definitely have all the buyers are pretty much buyers in control right now. Buyers are definitely looking for breakouts going higher. I certainly have some breakout trades on my radar for tomorrow. In fact, I have 3 different ways to make money on the breakouts going higher here. But remember what happened the last time we saw a CPI report over a month ago? We had that beautiful CPI squeeze. And so don't be surprised if we see some reversals into some short squeezes. I would love to get some head fakes going lower here. And of course, right, I'll make sure we cover if the market does turn and run back because, you know, we are pretty much long-term bearish overall right now. But would love to get some breakouts higher. Would love to get some CPI squeezes, right, for tomorrow's big news. And not to worry, I'm going to cover all the ways to make money on that CPI report. We're going to talk about that here in this video tonight. Before we jump in, though, let's make sure we're all on the same page for tomorrow. Tomorrow really is not your average Tuesday. We got one of the biggest news reports, probably the biggest news report of the week tomorrow is that CPI report at 8:30 Eastern time. Now, remember, we've been seeing this number. The CPI report has been climbing, right, for about a year now. And just last month, we saw a lower number. And so, you know, the word kind of got out late, you know, middle last week. China started seeing some decreases in CPI. And I think the kind of word is out right now. We might be looking at what they're calling peak inflation now. And so really everybody's kind of wondering right now, will tomorrow be another lower number? And will this inflationary pressure, has this now peaked? And will we start seeing this turn over and, you know, start kind of subsiding here? Of course, the Fed would really be happy with that. I'm sure all of us will be happy with that. I'm not going to go into a lot of details right now about what that CPI report might come out as tomorrow. Everybody's pretty bullish right now, though, because everyone's kind of anticipating this will be a lower number than last month. And, of course, a very big sigh of relief here from consumers. I'm not going to worry about what the number is, though. The number, remember, news is noise. We don't really trade the news. We trade the reaction to that news. So I wouldn't worry about whether it's higher or lower or what the number comes out as tomorrow. Just make sure you're at your desk, 8:15, get your charts all prepped up and be ready for the reaction. We will have a front row seat tomorrow morning for the reaction to that CPI report tomorrow morning on Trade Room. We got more big news coming later on this week too. We got PPI, we got Philly Fed and retail sales. We have some of the biggest meetings of the year, Wednesday and Thursday. Got some energy stimulus meetings coming on Wednesday. We have a huge meeting between President Xi in China, President Putin in Russia coming later this week. We have a lot to look forward to later on this week. And of course, we got quad witching on Friday. So I say tomorrow's the big news tomorrow of the week here, but we've got no shortage of more catalysts, more trading opportunities later on this week. So make sure you stay tuned today and of course the rest of the week, and we'll come back and we'll talk more about some other market catalysts that I have on my radar as we go deeper into this quadruple witching third week of the month of September. Back to our charts though, right? The money is made on the charts. Now guys, whether you trade one of these markets or you trade all of these markets, make sure you watch all the way to the end of this video tonight because you'll learn something new throughout each step of this video lesson. I'll provide different trade ideas, different strategies as we go deeper into this video, and I do try to save the best stuff for last, so try not to miss the ending. I'll make it worth your while to stick around all the way to the end. I'm going to go NASDAQ, S&P, and we'll wrap up on the crude oil futures. Let's jump into the Nasdaq here first of all, and keep in mind, upper left-hand corner, this is a 3,000 tick chart on the 1222 contract here of the Nasdaq. As I mentioned last week, we do have rollover, so be aware of that. You can find all the specific time frames in the upper left-hand corner. Also be aware too, pretty much everything I talk about on the Nasdaq tonight can be applied to the S&P and vice versa, right? So whatever we talk about in the S&P can be applied to the Nasdaq. Now that we have that out of the way though, there are three key insights that we're using to make money on this tomorrow. First one is a bull bias. Yeah, long-term pretty bearish here still, but I'll tell you the last couple days have been very, very bullish. It's very difficult to want to fight that bullish bias right now. Bullish bias, very important. We're trying to focus on being a buyer until we really start seeing good selling opportunities here. Next thing, strong move. Anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect to get a retest of that level. We are right there right now. At this point, we have to wonder, will the buyers get that breakout going higher, or will we get that deeper pullback down to some key areas of support for more buyers waiting down below? Keep that in mind. Strong move has been retested. Now it's a matter of, do we break out and go higher, right? Do we break out and go higher, get some breakout levels waiting up around 13,000 on the NASDAQ for tomorrow? Or do we end up coming back and taking out some of these lows here where, because we have that overall bull bias, we expect buyers to step in and pick it up from there? Third big clue here is a range and the pendulum swing. You'll notice, of course, we are bullish going into a trading range. I pretty much have marked up the amount below the range into the amount above the range, and this creates a bit of resistance here overhead. If we want to get a breakout, we're going to have to break through this area, right? This 62 and a quarter area, give or take a couple ticks there. So plenty of bullishness. Looking for a breakout going high. Remember the big thing about tomorrow is we got that CPI number. So a lot of this is going to be depending on how the market reacts to that CPI report here for tomorrow. Let's talk about the breakout going higher here first, and I'll cover the move going lower, although I honestly think the move going lower is the more profitable opportunity for tomorrow because of that CPI squeeze that I mentioned earlier on in the introduction. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll talk about the move going lower here in a moment. For the most part, there are 4 different ways you can make money on this move going higher here for tomorrow. You want to talk about those? Let's talk about those right now. First of all is a 1, 2, 3 breakout. We take out that high, we pull back to the moving average, we jump off that moving average, and we go higher. Remember, anytime we see a strong move going higher, we expect what? A pullback and a retest. I'd like to buy that pullback and get that retest. To do this, I'm going to draw a trend line off that high. I'm going to draw a channel off of these lows, and then repeat after me. Look left and grab that first test trap off of that low. One of my favorite trades in our trade room. Again, this is called a 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern. 1, 2, 3 breakout. Remember, very important, we jump off that moving average. We're right at that prior high. So we have to get some proof. I'm not buying the first pullback. I'm looking for that follow-up trade. I'll look for a trap pattern or a failure, right? The same stuff you guys learn in our free trading classes on the website. That's a 1, 2, 3 breakout. That is a great way to make money on this going higher tomorrow. Another one of my favorites, and of course your favorite dance move, is the old pop and grind, right? Let's me pop up here. But now, instead of pulling back and jumping off the moving average, now we are grinding higher, right? The grinder can be a bit confusing because it feels so slow and it's just not very aggressive. That's all right though. That grinding motion is a very big giveaway. Draw a trend line off that high, bring it down off that low. And again, look left, find some prior swings. And I always tell my students, try to get underneath a prior swing, get underneath the 21 moving average. I can look for traps, right? My trap setups below prior swings. I can look to, speaking of traps, I can look for bears to get short, below the moving average. Remember, all bullish, right? Anytime we see a strong move, we're looking for a retest. And so I get the bears getting wrapped in below that low. Bingo, I can buy right into those stop losses. Trap pattern, failure pattern. A lot of times they'll pull back right away and jump off that moving average, pull back, failure, trap. Again, you guys have learned all these inside of the free trading course. Just a heads up on this too. Be aware. I gave you guys some 13,000, right? 13,000. It's 4,200 on the S&P. We know where the market wants to go pretty much, but keep in mind the size of the first leg and the size of the third leg, right? Obviously, again, we don't know exactly what that means right now. We don't know how big that first leg will be, but the size of that first leg and the size of that third leg are oftentimes very, very symmetrical. So think about that as another way to take some profit, right, on this move going higher. That's called a pop and grind breakout. Pop and grind breakout, then buying the low of that channel. Another one you want to think about is called a two-try breakout. These are a little bit more aggressive, but they still work pretty darn well. Strong move higher, shallow pullback to the moving average, barely touches it, higher high in price, and what do we always say? Traps, baby. Yeah, this one, again, pretty aggressive here. You'll want to be getting into this one earlier rather than later. Remember, strong move gets the mojo going, gets that momentum going. Shallow pullback has everybody with some FOMO. The higher high confirms it's not just a V-top, right, is what that higher high will do. It'll give us that swing low. That's called a two-try breakout or a two-try trap. Don't be afraid to combine that trap off the low of a channel. Man, oh man, I don't think you can find a better buy than that. Really, very, very good way to be a buyer. And then last one, I saved the best one for last here. What my favorite will be, if we can make this move going higher here, would be a big move, a deep pullback, and again, think about kind of where some of these levels are, and then think about how you can trap in some of those bears for that CPI squeeze, right? Do not be surprised if we see quite a bit of volatility off that CPI report tomorrow. Again, imagine now we see a really big move higher, right? Either overnight or after that news comes out. What will happen is nobody wants to chase it. You know, nobody wants to chase the move going higher. It's as we say in our trade room, it's too high to buy up here. So we don't chase it, and oftentimes when it really shoots up like that, it'll shoot right back down. Remember though, it's an overall bull bias. It's a strong move in one direction. They're going to want to go back and retest that high. Whenever I see a really big move overnight or a really big move overall without any real pullback, the first thing I do is I start going back and going, okay, that high right there, that high right there. Okay, those are good support levels. Wait for that nice deep pullback. And remember, that really deep, sharp pullback will almost always fool the bears into thinking this thing is reversing. They'll come in, they'll try to sell off the moving average, and you got them right where you want them. Right, you got them right where you want them. Their stops are sitting right there. Those stops are gasoline, right? They're rocket fuel for hitting your profit targets. Trapping those bears. This is that CPI squeeze, right? As those bears get squeezed, we can then look for that run going higher. Now, what will probably happen on this one is you're probably not going to get that failure into pullback combination that I talk a lot about in our free trading class. In these deep pullbacks like this, we oftentimes will really spike up. And of course, it's a race to get in again before we go up and retest that high, right? So in this case, you know where the market wants to go, and that's where you can grab that little trap, right? So again, imagine now either overnight or after the news comes out, big spike up, too high to buy, want to buy low, find some larger channels, right? Find some larger channels, find some previous highs to anchor off of, wait for that sharp pullback, trap in those bears with those failure patterns. And then again, I would love to get that pullback combo, but it oftentimes just snaps right back up, and we'll grab those traps, that two-try trap, before we go back up and retest the high. Now, I know a lot of you guys and gals have learned all these setups, right? You've learned the failures, you've learned the traps, you've learned the pullback combinations. I know that because I get so many great emails from you guys every week making money off the free classes on our website. But listen, if you're one of the few people who haven't taken that free course yet, what I'll do is I'll put a link up here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link. The strategy that I teach in that free class will get you into more winning trades, help you avoid some really easy common losses, and most importantly, that strategy will give you a roadmap and a lot more confidence to tackle no matter what the markets throw at you each day. It's perfect for someone who's trying to make the jump into full-time trading. I have hundreds of examples of how we apply all of these setups as part of that free class. That way, the next time I get that strong move, that deep pullback, you'll know better than to be the victim of that trap, right? That way you're ready to go on that. Now, here's one more thing, and then we'll talk about going lower here. Think about this for tomorrow. What if we were able to get that strong run up? And again, I'm going to cover the downside here in a second. What if we got that strong move going higher? We get that beautiful CPI squeeze right off of that low, and we go right back to retest the high, and we what? We mission accomplish. Now, what do you think? At that point, all the professionals who bought down here, they're taking their money out of the market, right? They're taking their profit back at the high. What do you think? Is it possible that we might be able to trap in some of these buyers up top there and dump it back down again? What do you think? Do you think we might be able to get now this pullback, get buyers trying a couple times up here, and then think about where their stops are, right? Why would you buy way up here? Remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction like that, what's the goal? The goal is to get that deep pullback. My goal is always to trap in the bears, use their stops as fuel, and go back up to retest the high. I'm not buying up there, right? We're buying way down here, right? Or on the way back up to it. But what if we could rope in some of the inexperienced traders, right? The traders who haven't quite paid their tuition to the markets yet. They haven't learned by trial and error like a lot of us had to do when we were rookies, right? And now they come in and they're buying right into that high here. Remember, smart money's buying down here. Right? The dumb money, right? The weak hands, the inexperienced traders, whatever you want to call them, they're now buying high now. We don't want to buy high, right? We want to buy low. Think about now where their stops are, right? The buyers are now roped in, professionals are getting out, right? Right when the rookies are getting in. Now, think about stops. Remember, the easiest money you're ever going to make in trading is when you run those stops, right? Because if the buyers are caught long and they see a nice big fat red candle here, they don't have the capital to buy more. You know, they don't have the resources to keep on buying as it go right. They're going to bail. And when they bail on this is where the magic happens. This is when we get those big runs going lower, nice easy drop off the high. And then where does the market want to go? It's going to want to go back down and take out those lows. Right? So we can sell off that high, but only after we get that retest, right? Because it's so bullish right now. That's the reality of it. Now, remember, your job is not done yet after you grab that nice, easy short off that high. Once we drop, your goal is to get in before we retest those lows here. Find a new channel off that low, mark it up around that high. Are you with me? And then again, find that swing and repeat after me. First test is the best test. Do not miss that short. That's a great short right there. A lot of times, we might not get a great signal for the reversal off the high. It's going to happen sometimes, right? If we don't get the good signal, or maybe you don't have the confidence to take that trade short, you're not going to want to miss that new channel as we trade the turn back down to take out some of those lows. And then don't be surprised here if this turns into one big trading range and we're buying low tomorrow, right? Selling high, and back and forth we go from there. Did that cover a lot of the details there as we go higher, right? 5 ways to make money as we go higher here on the NASDAQ. Now, the big question, of course, is, like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of people are waiting for a deep pullback right now on the NASDAQ, right? I would think probably the best possible situation tomorrow would be a nosedive, right? Really trap in some of these bears and get that squeeze, right? Because think about it. We haven't seen a deep pullback since Wednesday last week, right? We got the news out of China, and of course the market kind of grinding up. Okay, let's talk about the move going lower here, but let's go over to the S&P. Remember, a lot of what I'm doing right now can be pretty much interchangeable on the S&P and the Nasdaq. The S&P is pretty much the same exact chart. It's a little bit more bullish than the Nasdaq, but it's basically the same exact thing. We do have an overall bullish bias right now. I know, we are long-term bearish, but the last 3 days, it's too bullish to ignore it. You know, we might turn around and be bearish, but we'll have to wait for that to happen, though. Right now, I can't be trying to pick a top, right, in a market that's been 3 days in a row, right, very bullish here right now. Not as a day trader, right? If you want to be a long-term swing trader, be my guest. I'm a short-term trader. I focus on short-term momentum, and we're pretty bullish right now. Next one, strong move higher. Anytime we see a strong move, what do we expect? A deep pullback, trap in the bears below the moving average, right? And then retest of that high. Why is that important for me? Well, it tells me that the smart money was buying down here. Okay, at this point now, we've got to be buying. Well, at this point, we need more information. At this point, do we break out and go higher? We talked about those 4 different ways to buy it as we go higher. Or does the market now collapse off that high, take out that low, take out that low, take out that low? And again, because of that overall bull bias, we expect there to be a bit of chaos, but again, get picked up and bring it back up again. We'll talk about if it really collapses here in a moment as well. All right, so that's a pretty important clue because right now, we're not in a really great place to be a buyer. We either have to get proof of the breakout going higher, or we've got to get a deeper pullback to attract in more buyers here. And then, of course, the third one, same thing as the Nasdaq. We're bullish. We go into a trading range. We rotate off the low of that range, and really at this point here, this area right there, that 45 area, is kind of the last straw of resistance before we get that real good breakout going higher. So again, I gave you guys 4 different breakout patterns and that squeeze reversal on the S&P. I won't bore you guys by repeating that over and over again here tonight. Let's talk about, though, if we go lower. All right, if we go lower, there really, for the most part, there are probably 3 different scenarios that you want to think about as we go lower. One is going to basically be a V bottom reversal. Okay, that's one thing you've got to be ready for because, again, we are kind of overall bullish at this point. That may change by the end of the day tomorrow, by the end of the week this week. That may have changed. But right now, though, what we know is, right, not we know is we get too much bullishness to fight it. The next scenario would be a move lower, a retest, right, and then back up from there. Okay, same ideas over here, right? Strong move down, retest, then back up from there. The third scenario that you want to be aware of is this might be one big reversal. We may see it move lower and it may not stop, right? It may keep running lower. We get some big levels waiting down below us here, 40.43, 40.27.5 on the S&P. Over on the Nasdaq, big levels below us, 12.453, 12.453. All right, I'll give you guys some more tomorrow morning in our trade room. So as we go lower here, 3 different kind of scenarios to buy it and to sell it as we go lower. The first one, let's talk about that V bottom. Okay, V bottoms are very tricky to trade because it's difficult to tell when the market's time to be a buyer, right? It's very strong going lower. V bottoms are one of the hardest types of markets to trade. Here's what I want you to be thinking about if we do get that. Remember, CPI report, biggest news potentially of the week tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. You can almost guarantee we're going to get some pretty crazy volatility. I would imagine, right? I would imagine. Obviously, I can't predict. I will of course anticipate though. So let's say we take that big move lower, right? Big, strong move lower. Now, what is the reality anytime we see a strong move in one direction? We know that's a lot of momentum, and the bears will try to come in and retest that low. Okay, that's kind of the core principle of this. Momentum goes lower on strength. We have to expect bears to come in here and throw the kitchen sink at this thing and try to get it back to retest the low and potentially keep it going. So as we go lower here, what we have to do is we have to rope in those bears. With all of that bear momentum, we need to use their stop losses as catalysts. Now, if I want to pick a bottom on something, I need to have signs of exhaustion and then run stops. So the best way you want to do this is you want to go in and use what I call a crown reversal pattern. Okay, these are the best ways to pick a bottom when you've got a lot of strength. And I'm anticipating a lot of strength right now because of that CPI report, right? Really, anything underneath this area right here, right? Anything underneath this area, we really going to trap in some of those bears and bring it back up. So strong move down. We then trap in some of the bears, let them try once as it goes higher. Now, here's the thing. Whenever we see a real strong move like this, you got to think as the market goes higher, you're going to have more bears coming in because, hello, sellers want to sell high, right? So as the market goes higher, your odds of success don't get better, right, at being a buyer. We'll be very careful picking bottoms on these bull markets when we have price moving higher, right? We want to buy as low as possible. That's why the crown reversal, or simply getting a trap below that low, is going to be your best way to make money in most cases, right? In most cases. Now, sometimes these will make a move lower. It'll really be drawn out, like one, right? Like two. It'll be a very drawn out move like that. Sometimes it'll snap, right, and go really quick like this. And you've got to be careful because as it goes high, remember, there'll be more bears coming in trying to sell into it because of that strong move down. So you want to look for that trap. Okay, the moral of the story here is you want to buy as low as possible because when you get those really sharp moves lower like this, as it goes higher, you've got more bears coming in. Okay, the key is getting that trap entry, something below a prior swing. That way, by the time you get back around these highs, when you expect more bears coming in, you're already making money on that trade. You've already got your stop at the point of entry. You're already trailing that stop. There's no risk on that thing anymore. Bring it on at that point, right? That's one way to do it, a crown reversal, or basically two tries here for those bears and a trap. The key is that trap. Now, one of our favorites in our trade room is always that double bottom reversal or a double top reversal off the high. Imagine now, we get that strong move down, right? Strong move down. The bears come in now. No. They don't try once, twice, and then give you that reversal back up again. They come in and they retest that low, right? The bears come in, they find some traps. They know how to draw a channel, and they come in and they run this thing right back down in, right? And they retest that low. As we always say, mission accomplished. Good for them. Now, let's go back up into that trading range. At this point now the smart money bears are already in. Okay? At this point, where do the bears want to get out? They're taking their profit at the low. Sellers sell high, take their profit at the low. Now, at this point these are the weak hands, right? These are the inexperienced traders now. Remember, we're still pretty bearish at this point, so we want to use what? Signs of exhaustion, and we want to use some stops. We don't need to buy as low as we do if we don't have the retest. The fact that we have that retest is a very, very big part of this because now the big money traders, they're already paid. Once these weekend traders come in, we look for them to try a couple times. We think about, okay, where are their exits? Or as I always teach it, where's their pain? Right? Think about where their stop losses are, where the sellers start to go, uncle, okay, I'm out, right? Where's that going to be? Right where that is, that's where you want to target going higher here for, again, one of my favorite trades after a big news event could be that CPI squeeze for tomorrow. As we go higher now, where do the buyers want to go? Oh, this one's easy, right? They want to go back to retest these highs. So now our job is as the market now runs higher now we're going out, we're looking left, we're finding new channels off the highs, new trend lines off the highs. We're finding channels off the low, and again, looking for traps, and we're going to grab things like trap setups. We're going to grab things like failure setups off the moving average, right? And we're going to go back up to take out those highs, right? This is hopefully tomorrow we get something like this. This would really be a very desirable trade, not just for day traders like me and you, but for longer term traders. Because again, look back, right? We haven't seen a deep pullback since like last Wednesday, right? It seems like it was August was the last time we saw a deep pullback, right? So again, these are more like a double bottom reversal, rope in the bears, right? Don't just buy that low. Trap in the bears. Use those stops to fuel the move going higher. And then don't miss that first test off the low of that new channel. That's a really good one, right, to be a buyer on. And then let's say, for example, doesn't seem like it's going to happen tomorrow, but hey, got to be ready for it. Let's say we do see a strong move down. Let's say the bears come in, they get that pullback, they retest, and these bears come in and they just blast. Right? They blast. That would be a full-blown trend reversal. If we see a strong move down, take out some of these lows, right? The bears aren't trying once, twice, and then back up, right? They're not double bottoming and then back up. No, they're getting their shorts on, and this thing is running, right? It's running. At this point now, it could be this one. It could be a pop and a grind. Right? Pop and a grind. Big move down. They're grinding down, right? Oh my goodness, the CPI number is higher than it was last month. Oh my goodness, right? Think about that. What if the CPI number comes out? Again, I have no idea what the number will be. I have no idea what the number will be. I have no idea how the market will react to it. All I know is that if the market does not like what it sees tomorrow, if it runs lower, doesn't rebound, and keeps on grinding down, and what you do is you mark a trend line off those lows. You bring it up around that big high. You do not chase it going lower because remember, sellers want to sell high, right? Want to sell high. We find the channel off the lows. We find those prior swings. We get up around those prior swings, get up above the high of that channel. There's your trap. There's your buyers coming in now. No. Too much bearishness. Right? Remember, the bears are going to want to retest that low, trap in those buyers who are foolishly trying to buy into that freight train going lower and take it back down to retest the low. That's when you can buy it, right? Then you can go in and go 1, 2 and buy it back up right there. Make sense? Right? So short it, right? Short it if it keeps going. Right? Short that thing if it keeps going. That's the way you want to think about this thing as it goes lower. Right? And the same thing goes too, right? If this thing just gets crushed, if it just rips and runs lower like that, start thinking about if it was to, right, run and just keep on going here, right? Start thinking about, okay, where can I find some bigger channels, right? Where can I find some previous levels to run up, trap in, and back down from there? All right? We'll know more about this tomorrow. Obviously, right? But if this thing just takes off the downside and keeps on going, don't chase it. Remember, wait for that price to pull back, trap in those buyers above the moving average, get that retest of the low, and then we can go after it and buy it back up from there. Okay? That will be a little tricky. Not to worry, though. Tomorrow morning, trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I will make sure we don't make that mental mistake and make some... and get some good trades off it. Looking good. S&P's ready. Nasdaq's ready. What do you think, by the way? What do you think? Am I on the right track? Well, let me know in the comments section, would you? I would love to know your feedback. Maybe you think I'm crazy tonight on this video. Let me know why I'm wrong. I'd love to know. Remember, the mark of a good trader, I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm trying to make money. And so if you have a different way to look at things, I would love to hear your feedback, right, as well here. Let me know what you guys like or dislike in the comments section. Let's go to oil here. We'll wrap things up on oil. Keep in mind, oil will probably have rollover towards the end of the week this week. Be aware of that. Now, everything we've talked about so far, you can probably begin to kind of put this all together, right? So let's kind of combine all those stuff we've talked about here already. There are, for the most part, 2 key insights here right now on the oil. Now, oil, again, look at a daily chart. We're still pretty bearish on a daily chart right now, but it's tough to ignore the last couple days, right? So I'm going to give this a bull bias right now, even though this may turn around at some point here this week. Remember, big news for tomorrow. Anything is possible when that CPI comes out. And then, of course, you got that bull market, right, into a trading range. And so ranges, of course, are very, very common. Anytime we see a bull market into a trading range, we find levels of support below the range, and we buy off those levels of support like channels off that low, right? Like prior swings off that low. And at that point, will the buyers break out and go higher? or will we go back and retest that high, dump back down again? These are some of the things we're thinking about here on the crude oil. So again, we're definitely bullish here right now, bullish into a trading range. I talked about those 4 different types of breakouts, right? Going higher. Do you remember what they were? Those 4 different types of breakouts. One of them was that 1 strong move, 2, pull back to the moving average. 3 is that blast off the 21 EMA. We call these 1, 2, 3 breakouts. Mark that high, mark that low. Again, I'm not going to go over all the small details right now, right? But we're buying that first pullback off the low of that channel. That could be a trap. It could be a failure. It could be a pullback combination. The same pattern setups I teach in that free trading course. Don't forget also, too, on any of these breakouts, the first leg, right? First leg, third leg are where this market, right, will likely get some profit targets. If we do get that big breaker going higher, I got 91.60 overhead, 92.5, right? Big round number, 95 could be in our cards here if things really, really get going. We'll see if they can get that party going that strong here, going higher. Second one was a pop and grind, right? We pop up. Now we grind, right? We pop and we grind. One of my favorites, right? Mark that high, mark that low, mark those swings. Same thing. Grab that first pullback for a retest of the high, leave a runner, first leg, third leg, going higher. That's an easy money trade on crude oil. You could easily say right now, I got something like that right now, right? Pops up, kind of grinds higher, draw off the high, bring off that low. I was looking for that pullback here earlier today, but never got it at this point here. Third one, right? Third one was that strong move, right? Get rid of this channel here, right? Strong move, real strong move up, shallow pull back to the moving average, higher high in price. And what do we always say? Yeah, traps, baby, right? Traps, baby. An easy money trade. Very, very easy money trade. You can see a couple of them right here, right? We see strong move, shallow pullback, higher high, trap pattern right there, right below that low. Got a bigger one there too, right? See it? Strong move, shallow pullback, higher high in price, trap below that low. You're going to see these come in all shapes and sizes here. That's a third way to buy it as we're going higher. And then what was the fourth one? The fourth one was that big breakout, right? This thing just rips overnight or rips higher. After the CPI report comes out, we don't want to chase it going higher, right? It's too high to buy. What do? We look left. We find some bigger channels, right? Find some bigger channels. Find some prior swings. We find those bigger channels. That's one of my favorite way to do it. Find that bigger channel. Try to get that deep pullback. And once we get that deep pullback, why a deep pullback? Because, again, nobody wants to buy high. And I would definitely expect some volatility out of that CPI report. Trap in some of those bears below the moving average. Once they try to get short, remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, it's just a matter of time before they retest that high. Trap in those bears. Use their stops for fuel on a failure pattern setup. And then, of course, grab that first pullback, right? Or that trap entry and go right back up to retest the high. Right? Then don't forget from there, 1 try for the bulls, 2 try for the bulls, and back down we go from there, right? Those classic breakout pullback, buy the deep pullback, take the profit off at the high, and then trap in those weak hands, those inexperienced traders, and sell right into those stops. To where, by the way? Back down to the deepest part of that pullback is your objective, is your target. That's a pretty good one, right? I like that going higher here. As we go lower, right? As we go lower, the V bottom, right? Big move down. Again, we can't be forcing long trades down here because the big move down will be too strong to buy into, and we let the bears try once, we let them try twice. Remember, like I said before, as this thing goes higher, you've got more bears coming in, so be selective until you get the retest of that low. That's called a crown reversal. It's a very simple entry pattern. It's a 2-try failure with a trap. You'll learn a lot about those, and you'll see a lot of examples of those in that free trading course. That, if by the way, if you joined that yet, the link up there, definitely grab that link. You'll love that free class. Lots of examples of crown reversals. And also too, right, if we do end up going lower here, they end up getting that pullback. They retest of that low. Mission accomplished, right? Mission accomplished. At that point now, trap in those weak hands. 1, to use those that two try rule as signs of exhaustion, and then light those stops up like a Christmas tree. Again, we're looking for that run back up into that trading range now. Mark that high, mark that low, and whatever you do, do not miss the first pullback off the low of that channel. Again, I'm keeping things pretty simple right now. Just keep the video short for you guys. You'll learn a lot more about these. We'll see more of these tomorrow. Traps, failures, pullback combos as we come off the low of that channel. I can't go into all the entry techniques here in these videos, but not to worry though. You'll learn the entry techniques in our video classes, starting with that free course that I mentioned earlier before. And again, if we were to take out these lows down here, make a big strong move down, the bears come in, they pull back and they blast, right? Strong jump off that moving average. That is a reversal. They may drop this thing, they may pull back, and they may blast going lower like that. Fine. Mark that low, mark that high, find that first pullback, selling off that high, mission accomplished, and then we can look to be a buyer going back up, right? We can be a buyer. We can be a buyer on that, but it's best to wait when they get that much strength going lower. It's just best to wait and retest. I think, though, if we can get a 1, 2, 3 breakout going lower and really punch, right, through that low, I'm not doing a very good job drawing this right now, right? They pull back, right, and they really blast, you know what I mean? Really blast that low here. Doesn't seem likely tomorrow, but hey, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll be ready for it. Mark that low, mark that high, right? And there's that short, right, off of that high. Or what's always very likely in a news day is that pop and grind, right? So strong move down, they begin to grind down. That grind is a really good giveaway. Mark that low, mark that big high. You got it. Find those traps and get those shorts, right, off the high from there. I love those trades, and we'll see what happens at the low, because once they retest those lows here, that's exactly where we can look for those 1, 2, and then jump it right back up. Because again, we do have a very good last couple of days, have been pretty bullish. So we might get that really sharp pullback, get a couple short trades going lower tomorrow morning in the trade room, and then again, get that squeeze, right? That CPI squeeze could squeeze, and those shorts might get squeezed, and we might find our way all the way back up, right? So kind of keep an eye on that. Strong move lower, retest of that low, trapping in those bears, and then as it rips higher, right? That's that squeeze right there. So we're in off the reversal. We're finding that channel coming in, and of course, we're looking to buy this thing, right, as it squeezes going higher. All right, guys. Obviously, I'm just simply illustrating my ideas here for tomorrow. The game plan is ready, though, right? The key to making money, the key to having confidence every day is to plan your trades so you can trade your plan. And we're gonna trade our plan tomorrow morning at the opening bell with all the advanced members. Don't be late tomorrow, guys. 8:30 is the big news of the week tomorrow morning. Don't forget, the best place to learn more is to start with that free trading course. The free classes on the website. I'll put all the links right below me tonight in the description of the YouTube video. So grab that link, get the free class going, learn the strategy, get the momentum going, start making money on that, and that way you're ready for trading with us sometime soon as a brand new student in our morning trade room. If you have any questions, or if you want to get registered and join me tomorrow morning in the morning trade room, I of course will put that toll-free phone number there. You can always call the office. I would love to have you there trading right along with me tomorrow morning as a new student, a new member of a trade room. We get our chat box there. You can always hit up the live chat, and you can always drop questions in the comment section below. All right, guys, hope you learned a bunch here tonight. Hope you use this information to earn a killing tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time in our trade room. If I don't see you guys tomorrow morning at the opening bell, you better come back tomorrow night, right? We'll come back, we'll recap the day tomorrow, and we'll get ready for what could be a very busy Wednesday trading session. Guys and gals, that's all for me. Get some rest. We might need it for tomorrow. As always, my name is Joseph. Be well. Be nice to each other, will ya? And you better be here tomorrow, right? Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.